question will always be, with what lens are you watching the news? What would you assume is the most major threat on the world stage? Anybody, just call it out. You don't have to raise your hand.
Definitely Russia.
Definitely Russia. That's confident. I like it. Who says Russia? Anybody agree with her? Hands? Okay, great. Who else?
China.
Stop yelling at me, but China is a good answer. Anybody? Who else? China?
North Korea?
North Korea. Any North Korea takers? And Venezuela? Anybody? Nope. Oh, yeah. One guy in the back. A little worried about Venezuela. Everybody's cool with Venezuela?
So, over the weekend, the United States launched strikes in Venezuela. US officials say President Nicolás Maduro was detained. Rapid operation flown out, facing US charges. The world's reaction? Instant. The reaction was immediate. The United Nations raised concerns over international law. China condemned the operation and demanded Maduro's release. Analysts warned about the precedent this could set. Which of course brings us to the uncomfortable question tonight. Was this really just about Maduro, or is something much bigger afoot? Tonight, we make one argument, and this is clearly an AI power story. Not just an oil or natural gas story, and definitely not a war on drugs. So, let's stay grounded in what we know. The surface story. The US strikes, well, it frames the move around security and criminal charges. China condemns. It frames the move as a violation of sovereignty. But if you actually want to understand modern power in 2026, stop thinking like it's 2006. Now here's the part that makes this impossible to ignore. Just hours before the US military action, who was of course in Caracas, Qui Zhao Qui, I hope I got the pronunciation right, China's special envoy for Latin America affairs. Maduro sat there. He reaffirmed a strategic partnership with China. He called it essential for a multipolar world. This does not obviously signify symbolism. China is Venezuela's largest buyer of oil. China is the lender. China is, of course, the infrastructure backer. So when Washington looks at Venezuela today, it doesn't see a failed state. It actually sees China expanding influence in America's backyard, siphoning energy resources to Beijing, a strategic asset drifting out of US control. So in the middle of an AI-driven great power race, this is very imperative. Now here's of course the missing piece, Taiwan. Because if AI is the new oil, then Taiwan is the refinery. Today, Taiwan dominates the chips that run the world. NVIDIA's accelerators, AI servers, military intelligence systems. And when we actually strip it all down to the basics, it means no Taiwan equals no cutting edge AI at scale. And of course, the timing matters. Beijing has spent the last year rehearsing blockades around that island. They have made it very clear. Taiwan is not optional. And for Washington, this is a nightmare. If China seizes Taiwan, or for that matter, just disrupts the shipping lanes, the supply chain fractures. So what does the US do? Well, it hedges. It stops betting everything on fragile supply lines across the Pacific. And it starts locking down the other half of the equation. Energy dominance in its own hemisphere. Suddenly, Venezuela isn't in a humanitarian crisis. It isn't a sanction story. It's the world's largest untapped energy reserve, sitting inside America's strategic zone. The International Energy Agency has been screaming this for years. Data centers need juice. AI demand is spiking electricity costs. Power availability is now national security. The chain is quite simple. Energy fuels power generation. Power keeps data centers running. Data centers make AI scale possible. So the fight isn't USA versus Venezuela. It is USA versus China's influence. In America's near abroad, big powers draw lines. Cross them and it gets messy. The Monroe Doctrine, yes, did that 2 centuries ago. Today, the lines are about tech, energy, and supply chains. We, of course, are very precise when we state that nobody is saying the Pentagon announced, we attack GPUs. That's ridiculous. But the AI era changes the incentives. Energy is strategic. Great powers are paranoid. China-US competition is the background radiation of every decision. And here are the 3 implications you need to watch out for. The first one, the AI Cold War is becoming an energy and territory game. Number two, precedent risk is sky high. If the United States can do this here, the rules have changed everywhere. And number three, Latin America is the new frontline. Expect more coups, more cash, and more chaos, unfortunately. Here, of course, is in conclusion the front page take. And this is what we feel. AI is turning energy, geography, and resources into instruments of power. Venezuela has become a test case. In 2026, nations race to secure the power that runs them and the geopolitics that protects them. And just in case you missed the contrast, as Venezuela faces regime collapse and Nicolás Maduro's detention, Donald Trump is back to being friends again with Elon Musk over dinner at Mar-a-Lago. While, of course, Starlink moves in to restore connectivity, because in the AI era, even regime change comes with bandwidth. Of course, please note that this is still a developing story. Maduro is set to appear in a New York court. Delcy Rodriguez has stepped in as interim leader. Oil markets remain surprisingly calm, and global powers from China to Russia, Germany and beyond, with India voicing deep concern and a call for peaceful dialogue, of course, are questioning the precedent being set. This is Front Page by AIM Network. Please let us know what you think in the comments below, and always remember, like, share, subscribe, and think AI, think AIM.